Blog Talk Radio.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and alongside, of course, every week is none other than Legends Tour player and LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are the hosts of the Women of Golf Show. Good morning, Cindy, and welcome.
Good morning, Ted. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes. For those of you just tuning in bright and early this morning, this is the first show of 2017. For Cindy and I, we're certainly had a long extended vacation, if you will, and not that we weren't doing some work up until now, but had other things in the fire. And, of course, with the holidays, we took a little extended break. So this is the first show of 2017, and we're glad that you can join us this morning. Cindy, before we get started, let me just do a few quick announcements. Lots of good things happening this year. But let me just remind everybody, of course, to tune in each and every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf, or just type Women of Golf up in the search key from that network, and that'll bring you right to the show. You can also catch us on iTunes as a podcast. Go to itunes.com, and in the podcast section, again, just type in Women of Golf. But for those of you joining us live this morning, we're glad that you're here. And what we want to do this year particularly, we really want to get the audience engaged. We know some of you can't maybe tune in during the live broadcast, but for those of you that can, we would love to hear from you. And a number of ways you can do that. You can call into the show by calling area code 347-945-5855. You can email Cindy at cindymillergolf.com. We would love some questions or comments about the show. Or you can also reach me at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. And you can also get more information as well. Maybe if you have somebody in mind that's in the golf industry that you haven't heard before on the show and maybe you'd like to hear, by all means, send us some emails and just let us know. Or, as I said, call us at 347-945-5855, and you're welcome to join in the conversation. We got a great show for you to start off the season. Just a moment or two, Cindy is going to recap a little bit about her visit at the 2016 PGA Merchandising Show, which was just held a few weeks ago back in Orlando and here in Florida. And then a little bit later in the broadcast, Dave Harner, the PGA Director of Golf Operations from French Lick Resort, is going to be joining us for some conversation as well. So, but again, we're glad that you tuned in this morning, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Cindy, let's just sort of, I guess, get into it a little bit about the show. Unfortunately, I got sick this year. I wasn't able to make it down, so I didn't get a chance to see some of the great things going on. But I want to start off, because I know one of the reasons you go is there's all kinds of great seminars and teaching clinics, and of course the infamous demo day there. What were some of the new ways that you experienced in that area that I know are going to help grow the game?
You know what? I went the first day to demo day, and I had to do a little presentation for Body Track. So between doing that, I went to the Flight Scope certification event, which was like an 8-hour seminar. And right during lunch, I had to go do the Body Track thing. So during the Flight Scope seminar, we had Mike Adams come in and speak. We had Body Track come in and speak. And we had some mental coaches, the Focus Band people come in. And I purchased a Focus Band a year or two ago. And when I first saw Focus Band at the show, I was very intrigued by it. It measures your brain waves and tells you when you're wired and when you're in what they call motion. And
right.
Motion is the zone. And a couple of the guys from the company, one of them works with a lot of professional athletes, football players, baseball players, and namely in golf, Jason Day. And you can see Jason when he's playing in a tournament, how he closes his eyes. And what he's doing is he's shifting states on purpose to go to a more relaxed, comfortable, feeling, visual, auditory, kinesthetic place, which will help him, to relax and then make a better swing.
Right.
So I was very intrigued by that. So I bought a few more of them because we're doing boot camp in a couple of weeks, and I want everybody to work with the focus bands to help them learn how to shift states so they're better prepared and relaxed to make a golf swing. So that was very, very intriguing. Another seminar I went to was the Henry Brunton seminar with the LPGA on how he conducts his performance academy for juniors, which I'm very interested in because we do a lot of stuff with kids up here. And he's just over the border in Toronto, so I think I might be taking a trip up to see Henry and watch his academy in session. That was great. I was fortunate enough to be chosen as one of the top 50 U.S. kids golf instructors, so I went to that presentation. That was awesome. And then the last thing I did was, yes, thank you. I happened to be the president of the LPGA for the Northeast, so we had the executive committee meetings and the leadership committee meetings with the LPGA with our commissioner, Mike Wan, and board members, Roberta Bauman and John Padami from the LPGA, and then all of the section presidents, and Deb Vangelo and Karen Palacios Jensen and Nancy Henderson and Tammy Brown. So all things LPGA, and that was awesome and great, and I got to hug and kiss my granddaughter. So what more could you ask for?
Yeah, so a great show all in all. And just to very quickly, because for those that maybe didn't tune into the show last year, we of course had the gentleman on from Body Track. Just explain a little bit about that, how that works for those that don't understand. I mean, we understand what they are because we're in the industry, but for those that maybe aren't, that are just tuning into the broadcast, just very quickly explain what Body Track is, because I know you work quite well with it.
Well, Body Track measures pressure. So it measures the center of pressure on your feet. And again, you just said we're in the industry, so we understand it. Well, I've been in the industry forever, and I didn't really understand it. So I'm always seeking ways to improve, and I'm open to knowing that I don't know everything. And this was one spot that I really didn't know everything, and I still don't. But Body Track measures center of pressure. So my friend Terry Hashimoto, who we've had on the show before, I went to college with him, and when he called me and he said, I want you to look at this, I'm like, oh, God, go away. I don't want to look at this. And I didn't have very good attitude, and he was not going to let me get away with it. So I was doing a boot camp 2 years ago at Orange County National, where demo day is, with the kids, and Terry would happen to be in Orlando, so he brought Body Track out. And he put me on it, and, I'm trying to hit the ball far. I've always tried to buy distance. And, again, it's funny because I thought I was so proud of myself because 98% of my pressure went to my back foot on the top of my backswing. Mm-hmm. And he said, that's not so good. I go, why not? And he said, because you're almost swaying. Well, my thought was the more weight I get back there, the more weight I can come through, and therefore I would hit it further. And that's not the truth. So most tour players have 70 to 75% of their pressure on their back foot at the top of their backswing. And so when he said, I want you to practice doing that, it felt like I was doing nothing. It was like, well, this is easy. I can do this. And again, this all goes back to the Own Your Game thing that we did, the series that we did with, Cindy is a competitive control freak that tries too hard. And guess what? You don't have to try that hard. So take a chill pill.
Right.
And so it's been eye-opening to say the least. And it's amazing how much the women have the pressure go to their toes on the way down, and I'm one of them. And when I went to the CME Globe in November with Terry and the Body Track team, and we got tour players' swings, it was the same thing there. So it must be something about women that we feel like we need to lunge at it, or maybe it's the way we're built. Again, I'm not the research scientist, But there's definitely a correlation there. A lot of the women do that, and the men don't.
Right. And let me just clarify, just again, for those that may not understand, the apparatus that's used is a mat, correct? That they stand on, that measures
very
the pressure
easy.
point.
And you use your iPad to see where the pressure is, and you can practice. So if you purchase a body track mat and you have the app on your iPad, you can just sit there and practice going back and forth. They call it a trace. So how your pressure moves back and forth is a trace. And you can see what there's 7 main traces of really good players. And we can help you make your trace better, which will in turn help you hit it better, and you will be more in balance, and really quantifies feel. So, people that play golf either want to see it, feel it, or hear it. And this will quantify feel, and you will visually see it, and there is no lying. So it's total truth right in front of your eyes, which to me was a rude awakening, which is a great thing because you're practicing. One other thing that I totally forgot to tell you that I need to say is that I was able to, my Learn to Hit It kit that I created with the 10-module online course, the Callaway booth was displaying my Learn to Hit It kit, and I got to be on Morning Drive live promoting my Learn to Hit It kit with Damon Hack, which was really cool. So we got a lot of sales out of that.
Yeah, I actually saw that on social media, the images and that of you being, and congratulations on that as well. And let's before we continue on about the show, let's give a quick plug on that for those that are interested in Cindy Miller's Learn to Hit It kit. Cindy, how can they go about getting their hot little hands on one?
Go to learntohitit.com, and again, it's what it's for. I had a man come up to me at the Dome the other day because I'm back in Buffalo and it's snowing, and his wife bought him one for Christmas. And he said, Cindy, I can tell you that I've been topping it for a year, and just your one little course module on what to do to get over topping it has changed my game, and I can't wait for spring. And this is somebody that plays a lot and has played for a long time. So I created the kit for busy business professionals who don't really have time to learn how to play, because it comes with the Golf 101 for Executive book and 10-module online course with a mat and foam balls. But whether you played a long time or you haven't played at all, this kit will help you learn to hit it clean, airborne, and straight on purpose, and it's $99. So for less than a 1-hour lesson at a lot of places, you're going to get 10 lessons and a mat and foam balls and a book, and you get a coupon for 10% off and a Callaway club.
Fantastic. And certainly a great...
LearnToHitItKit.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Cindy. Now, I know you probably didn't get a lot of time to sort of navigate around the show because I know you get busy with a lot of other things. But what was the buzz, if anything, this year in technology? Was there anything sort of big for coming in for 2017 at the show that you heard about or that you saw yourself?
Blast Motion. And Blast Motion. So it's a sensor, and again, you got to, of course, I bought a few, and I paid for the online portal, and I haven't read the directions yet. That's Alan's job. So I'm not a direction reader and learning how to use something. I'm like, you read it and show me what to do. Anyway, so Blast Motion, there's 2 separate businesses here, in my opinion. Number one is the little device that goes on your club that measures your tempo and your pace and your timing, which I think is awesome. And it's always 2 to 1. And they were showing people, again, when you go to these booths and you're the newest, latest, greatest thing, there's so many people at the booth, and you really can't hear. And I don't love crowds, so I'm like, I'll learn about this later. But I did have a phone call with one of the guys before the show, and they're integrating Blast Motion with Body Track.
Oh, wow.
So I was very interested in that. It hasn't come out yet, but you're going to be able to see your pace and your tempo and your timing, and a lot of tour players use it with putting and swinging. But the second part of this that's even cooler is they've created an online portal that we can have all of our students join for the year. It's like $99 for the year.
Mm.
And we can give them homework and assignments and practice schedules, if you will, and we can see them do their homework. It's almost like an online academy. And I told the Blast Motion people, I said, I like your cute little device here, but this is more important to me. This other portal is way more important to me, especially for the kids that we have to play college golf who aren't with us. And they're going to be able to tape people, which is awesome. Just like V1, that's another seminar that I went to. But this Blast Motion Golf is really pretty cool.
Fantastic. We'll have to make a point of getting a little bit more information and maybe getting somebody from Blast Motion perhaps on the show in the upcoming months, and they can give us maybe a little bit more feedback. Because, and I agree with you, Cindy, I think any way that we can search out or seek ways of improving ourselves and our, of course, ultimately our golf game, we want to be able to pass that on to the listeners out there. So we'll make a point of doing that for the folks. Now, I know that
I got to say something for what you just said.
Yep.
Hang on forgive me for interrupting, but
nope.
You know what? For those of you who are listening to the show, be a seeker of knowledge, but also stop and ask yourself, is this going to help me or confuse me? Because there's so many new things out there that they want to sell you product, and you've got to make sure that it works for you. So the more you know about yourself and your game and your personality and your learning style, the more better aware you'll be to make good decisions on what will help your game and possibly hinder your game. So that's just, don't assume everything's the latest, greatest thing. Be open-minded and seek, but also discern the difference and will it really help you or will it confuse you? Because there's a lot of us, I've been out there and I'm whacked out. I'm the best whack out in the world. So.
No, not you, Cindy. I don't believe that.
Oh, yes, I am.
I know exactly what you mean. And just to add to that point, you're exactly right. And I won't get into names or specifics, but I know, over the last few years, not so much here on the Women of Golf, but of course, as most of you know that have been tuning in the last few years, I also host another program, Golf Talk Live, and we've had a number of guests over the years and some very interesting products, and some of them today are no longer, they've like evaporated like into thin air. So you're exactly right. A lot of times you think it's the latest and greatest thing because it's very techy and whatnot. But sometimes it just, people just don't grapple to it and it doesn't last. So, you have to do your due diligence when you're looking at some of these different things because the truth of the matter is, especially with the internet, there is so much information being blasted out there to the students that it can be very overwhelming. And it's overwhelming for us as professionals. Just imagine what it's like for some of the students out there that really still are learning the game and don't fully understand the various components, in golf, to get all this information coming out. You think, oh, wow, that looks cool, and you go out and you buy it, and then, you're scratching your head for the next few weeks wondering what to do with it. So do your due diligence. Now, Cindy, I want to move on to the equipment because I know we kind of had a little sneak peek late last year. In fact, our last guest, Kathy Grayson from Callaway, I know that they were launching some new product this year. Did you get a chance to I believe you actually have one, but did you get a chance when you were at the booth to check out what was new and exciting coming out of Callaway's?
The Epic driver is the new and latest and greatest thing, and I hope nobody else gets one except me. Because, yes, I finally was able to purchase yardage. And,
fantastic.
In fact, yesterday, I did get an Epic driver on December 14th. But then yesterday, our great rep, Jim Yeager, came over to the Dome with me, and he said, I think I got a shaft that'll help you hit a couple yards further with a little less spin because I tend to hit with a lot of spin. And he indeed did bring me a new shaft. And then he showed me their new 3-wood, the Epic 3-wood, that has this 40-gram graphite shaft that I was almost flying off the deck as far as I was flying the driver. And he said, well, I'll order you one. I said, well, why would you order me one when we have one right here that works? I said, why don't you order yourself one and give this one to me? And he said, oh, my God, you're a pain in my butt. So I've got the 3-wood and the driver with the new shaft. So, yeah, I have no idea what the technology is other than the face. It's wider, that you can hit it better, and you can hit it off the center, and it still goes pretty good. That's
fantastic.
Degree of technology. But, yeah, it's way better, and I can't wait to go to Florida and play golf.
Well, and the truth be known, I mean, obviously we all want to be accurate and, off the tee and so forth, but the truth of the matter is there's a little, demon, if you will, inside all of us that wants to get those few extra yards. And I know, Cindy, you've mentioned this many times about wanting to, you hit some great golf shots, but one of the complaints that you've had for the last few years in competing with some of your fellow professionals is wanting to be a little bit more competitive by getting some more distance. So I hope this new Epic driver from Callaway is going to be able to do that for you.
Yes, but again, as Alan would say, people don't come in off the 18th hole and go in the locker room and throw their hat up against their locker or kick their locker and say, I could have won today if I'd have hit it 10 yards further. So,
right.
As much as I want to hit it further, it's always better to be deadly straight. So.
Well, I agree with Alan, but Alan, don't rain on Cindy's parade today. She's enjoying it. So.
Yeah, it's like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. We respect you, Alan. We know you're a professional, but we're on a high right now for Cindy. Well, that's fantastic. Now, let me ask you just sort of one final thought here about the show. What was your favorite moment of the show? Was there anything specific that stood out that thought, wow, this? I mean, you see so many things down there and get a chance to talk with so many people, of course, when you're down at the show. Was there anything that really stuck out as the most memorable part of the show?
No, there wasn't. I hate to say that, but I think I've gone so much that the newness has worn off, and I'm always looking for something cool and different that's simple, and that's basically what I'm looking for. Some new toy gadget thing that's simple, and maybe Blast Motion is it. I can tell you that I got fit for a new putter with Edel. And I'm sending them an email right now and saying, when's the putter coming? I want it. They've got some new technology, and I may ask them to come on the show to explain it. Something better again with, alignment. What they do with people when they fit you is so magical. I've never seen anything like it. And that's all I'm going to say. But I'm really excited about that because – you can hit it all day long, but if you can't make a putt, it's over.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think, just we only got a moment or two here. I see that Dave is ready to come on, so we don't want to keep him waiting too much longer. But a lot of people are very in tune with having their clubs fit, the driver and the irons and so forth. But a lot of people forget that you need to have your putter properly fitted for you as well, because that's where you're really spending a lot of your strokes right there. It can lose a lot of strokes is on the putting surface. So if you're not playing with the right equipment there, it can hurt you just as well as on the other end. So great point. And yeah, let's get them on the show if we can.
Aligning the putter face is really, really important. If you might think you're aimed okay, but you might not be. So, and Edel has a system that is unbelievable that teaches you, and they fit you, which is very cool.
Fantastic. Well, Cindy, I think we need to bring on our guest this morning. I'm sure he knows a little bit about golf as well and can add into the conversation. Our very special guest this morning, of course, is Dave Harner. He's the PGA Director of Golf Operations up in French Lick, at the French Lick Resort in French Lick, Indiana. Let me just tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll bring him on. He was born and raised in French Lick. And with the exception of a 2-year stint at the Doe Valley Country Club in Brandonbury, Kentucky, he has been an employee of French Lick Resort since 1976. So he's been there for quite a number of years. He was also the 2012 Indiana PGA Professional of the Year, also a 3-time Indiana PGA Merchandiser of the Year for golf shop sales and operations, 1994, 04, and 2009. He was the founder of the Orange County Junior Golf Association back in 1998, and also is a member of the French Lick Town Council from 2010 to present, and many, many other accolades in between, but we'll be here for most of the show reading them all out, so let's bring them on and have Dave join the conversation.
Good morning, David Harner.
Good morning, Cindy. How are you guys this morning?
We're doing very well. Dave, thank you very much for joining us on the Women of Golf Show. We appreciate you coming on and spending some time this morning. And Cindy, I'm going to let you start our conversation off this morning.
Dave, I think, how long have you been doing the Legends Tour event? 4 years? 5 years?
We had 4 years, yes, 4 years with the Legends.
Well, and we have spoken we've spoken about French Lick an awful lot. And Ted realizes, and our audience knows, how much I love the place and hate the place, because it's the hardest golf course I've ever played in my life. And my goal is to play without clenched butt cheeks. And so I'm going to come back, even if I have to Monday qualify in July, because I have to defeat my demons at your place. But it is almost like Oz. And it's the coolest place I have ever been. So you got to tell us again about it, because it is so amazing when you come into the town and you go up the brick road and you see this Coliseum, and then you go up the mountain and you see this golf course that came from heaven. You go, where the hell am I? So tell us about French Lick.
Well, I've long said, people around the consumer golf shows and around the conferences say, my goodness, French Lick, it's in the middle of nowhere, and I always come back with, well, not really, it's kind of in the middle of everywhere. So that's kind of how I sell it. And further along those thoughts, you really don't expect what you run into when you get there. It's kind of a wow factor, and I can describe it to people, but until you actually come there and walk into that huge dome, as Cindy pointed out, and go up to the Donald Ross course where you can feel the history, and then over to the Pete Dye course where Cindy says it comes from heaven, but I've heard people make comments quite the opposite, that it really came from hell. So it's a tough golf course, but it's a beautiful golf course. There's never 2 days up there that look the same as far as the horizons and the morning fog and the evening sunsets. It's always different. But
fantastic.
We have two hotels there, 680 rooms between our two hotels. It's really a complete resort, 2 spas, horseback riding, bowling. We're going to be doing sporting clays this year for the first time. So a lot of things to do and a lot of meeting space.
Fantastic. Dave, this is Ted. I wanted to ask you, just sort of in conjunction with what you just said, because Cindy mentioned about how challenging it has been for her. What do you do on the course? How do you make it so that some of the amateurs that maybe want to come and play there are not going to be overwhelmed with some of the challenges they may face on the golf course? What are some of the things that you do to help them prepare a little bit better to play it?
We've been very conscious of the senior player and of the female player, of the beginners in all of our golf venues there. We have yardages at the Ross course that are from 4,500 back to 7,000 yards with 5 sets of tees. The Pete Dye course, we have 6 sets of tees with yardage from about 4,800 up to 8,106. So there's something there for everyone. If you play the proper set of tees, it's really a fun place to play. Even the Pete Dye, you're able to run the ball up on the green. There's not a lot of forced carry, not a lot of bunkering right in front of the greens. Alice Dye, is always a champion for women's golf and for the beginner and the amateur player, and she firmly tells Pete there'll be no forced carries on your golf courses. So that's kind of how it is, and it can be a fun golf course if you play the right set of tees.
Tell us also about the family course that you have, and you've got all kinds of different golf. What is it, frisbee golf or something that you can play on the family course?
No, we have foot golf. The family course, the 9-hole golf course right there adjacent to the French Lick Resort Hotel is a U.S. Kids family golf experience where we have 9 holes with an 1,100-yard set of tees, an 1,800-yard set of tees, a 2,200-yard set of tees, on back to 3,500 yards. So if your 8-year-old plays the forward set of tees and Dad plays the back set of tees, the chances are the 8-year-old's going to outdrive Dad, which is always a big thrill for the kids. And then the foot golf is sort of an added amenity that we threw out there. We weren't really sure about, and we weren't really sure how it would coexist with golf. But, you know, the 9-hole player there is more of a recreational player, so they don't really mind the foot golf. And we were concerned that the foot golfers may hold up regular golf, but we've set it up in such a way that the foot golfers actually play faster than the golfers, but they never complain.
Wow.
That's great.
Now, do you get
and
a lot of...
we generated 2,900 rounds there last year of foot golf. So.
Wow. And one more thing, you've got the indoor space, because I've done the LPGA golf clinics for women there during the event. I mean, you've got absolutely everything you could ever need or want, which is amazing to me as a teacher, because I love the fact that you've got the indoor space. So tell us about that as well, in case it's raining.
Well, and you're gonna love this, Cindy. We just converted our indoor space to a Callaway Select Fit Center.
Oh my God!
We're gonna probably have the most elaborate Callaway fitting center in the southern half of the state here in a few days. So we're really excited about that. I've already gone Epic, as you have, in my bag, and I've been giving it a test about 3 days a week here in Florida. So that's good. We have an indoor putting green. We do pickleball and tennis in that same facility.
Wow.
I want to come hang out. And Ted, I got to tell you this. The staff at this place, it is just the perfect place. It's the Midwestern mentality. They are the friendliest, nicest people. No one is rude. I've never been to it really is like Oz. It's like Oz. So Dave, you and Joe have done a great job with Mr. Ferguson and Connie. I love the place.
It's anyone can have bricks and mortar, but it's hard to have the type hospitality that gets displayed there in French Lick and West Baden every day, and the people genuinely appreciate you being there. They realize the importance of the tourist trade and how it affects our economy, not only in French Lick and West Baden, but the entire region. So, there's a lot of thankful people that this all came about. Bill Cook was a godsend to the area. Spent $670 million in renovation, restoration, and new construction there. We're currently working on 2 or 3 other things. Employee housing is a big one. We grew so fast in our employee base that there wasn't enough housing, so now we're building another 60-room dorm for our seasonal help. There's also talk of another 100 hotel rooms. So, they didn't just spin and throw down some money and get out there. They continue to enhance the area with all that.
I think one of the things that, and just from listening to you, Dave, and from Cindy talk about the resort, I think one of the things that becomes very apparent is that you don't wait, for people to come to you. You actually are very proactive in going out after people. So you do things that are going to attract people, to the venue. Not just at the professional level, but even at the amateur level. You want to make sure that people that come to the resort have a great experience. And I think one of the problems in the golf industry with a lot of different sort of your traditional courses is they sort of have an open door policy where they open the doors and sort of wait for people to flock in. They're not very proactive. It sounds like you guys have done a lot of put a lot of thought into the process, in addition to the renovations and so forth, but and really finding ways to intrigue and invite and entice a lot of your clientele. Would that be a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment. We've never charged a PGA professional for a room if they're there at leisure. Of course, if they come there to compete, that's a different story. They're there to play for a purse. But if a PGA professional from Chicago wants to come down and visit our place, we're more than happy to host them. We feel like they're our best ambassadors. They go back to the club. They talk about their experience, and it's been a very very successful method for us to entice players. You know, and relationships are huge. I have a club here in Florida that I visited about 2 years ago. They have a large group of about 100 people who travel to a destination in the fall before they all come down to Florida. And worked with this course. This was the third year, and we finally converted them. I went down the other night and did a presentation on the history of the resort, and, you know, people are excited to come. But relationship building takes time, and you have to have the stick to it and the wherewithal to build those relationships. You know, you look at the Legends Tour. You know, we started out with the Legends Tour there. Will be 5 years ago real soon, and now that event has evolved, and you know, we've got the LPGA involved, and we're going to be the first ever senior LPGA championship.
Let's talk about that. Congratulations for those of you that maybe missed that. 2018, the first U.S. Senior Women's Open is going to be held at French Lick. You guys have to be pretty excited about that.
Actually, no. The 18 Women's Open is the USGA event, and it's going to be at the Chicago Golf Club. We'll be in July of 2017.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
We're a little ahead. We're a little ahead of the USGA on this one.
Okay.
Yay!
Now, yeah. My mistake. I apologize. Now,
that's all right.
When specifically is it in July? And then I have another question I want to ask you.
We're going to actually have about 10 days of great women's golf. Starting on July 5th, the Symetra Tour comes to town. You know, the up-and-coming stars of the future stars of the LPGA. We'll be there for a tournament on July 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Donald Ross course. They're actually going to play the course where the 59 and the 60 LPGA championships are played. Alongside that, we'll have the Legends Tour Honors Division for players over 60, I believe 63. They'll play the final day at the Ross with the Symetra players, so that'll be kind of neat to watch. Then on the following day, on Monday, the 10th, 11th, and 12th, will be the Senior LPGA Championship, and it seems kind of odd to have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday event, but, you know, if you think about it, it's the week of preceding the U.S. Women's Open.
Right.
There's a lot of women's golf going on. We're live on the Golf Channel 2 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And there's no other golf going on, so hopefully the viewership will be huge and the response will be great to that event. I know the competition's good. I mean, we had last year at our Legends event had a 6-hole sudden death playoff between Chris Johnson and Julie Inkster, and the finishes are always exciting on the die course.
Fantastic. Now, what, if anything, do you do special for the course to prepare for these events? Do you do anything different, or as Cindy said, is pretty much as it is daunting enough? What do you do specifically to prepare for these events?
Well, I wish I could get on here and say all the things that we do differently than our everyday setup, but we really don't do anything differently. I think our courses are in championship condition every day. We set up every day that, like, if we have 10 players, they're as important as 100. So that's sort of our philosophy. We really don't do anything different. You know, we have a rules official from the LPGA that'll come in and do course setup, but I don't anticipate it being anything different than we do on a daily basis.
Wow. Cindy, what did you find most challenging about the course? I mean, you've played it now for a few years. What part of the course did you find the most challenging? Was it the greens? Was it the undulations? You know, what was difficult for you that you found the most challenging?
I think it's hitting into the greens because there's specific, depending on the pin placements, the greens are very undulated. So the more you play there, the wiser you should become to know where you need to miss it. You know, and I hate to say it that way, but there are places where you can hit one bad shot and you are dead. And so the wiser you get and learn to have an area, if you will, or a region of the green to hit towards, the better off you're going to be, so that you have the ability to get it up and down. Because if you do miss it in certain spots, you know, you can make double and triple really fast. Would you agree with me, Dave?
I think, Cindy, that's true. I think the golf course plays a lot like the old Donald Ross courses. You know, the greens are sloped back to front. They're all sort of up. So if you miss right or left, or long, there's usually a bent grass bailout area, and the ball will roll off a long way and leave you a difficult shot from a real tight lie. Short is about the only place you can miss it safely. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
And then,
you're right.
Something else that impacts it is if you're in the fairway and you've got a decent distance in, it's a lot easier because the greens are small. They're not, you'd expect huge greens, but Pete built this golf course to be futuristic. His argument is if something doesn't get done with the equipment, the ball and the club, then a lot of golf courses are going to become obsolete. And so he built this sort of futuristically with that 8,100-yard set of tees to greens that are less than 5,000 square feet in most cases. So they're hard to hit, but if you get a little bit of a side hill lie off the fairway, you could be standing with the ball 3 feet above or 3 feet below your feet, and then to hit them is almost impossible. So, yeah, how you approach the greens is going to be important.
Very good. Now, what are some of the other future plans that they have at French Lick? You mentioned a few of them earlier in that. As far as tournaments and that, are you looking at trying to bring some other main events to the resort?
Well, the senior LPGA kind of came out of nowhere for me. We were talking with the Legends Tour, and we'd had a pretty good run, and we'd never really gotten the exposure for the resort or for the Legends Tour that we thought we should have. I mean, you've got Julie Inkster, you got Laura Davies, you got Patty Sheehan. Christ, you've even got Cindy Miller. And we were having trouble getting any recognition. So we had a sort of a turning point. Either we didn't do a tournament or it got enhanced in some way. And Mr. Ferguson, we were meeting, and one day out of the blue, he says, let's get the LPGA on the phone. Let's start working toward a senior LPGA championship. And we got with them, and you know what? It worked out. And these ladies deserve a major championship. They deserve a venue to play. It's good competition, but you've got some great players there that are sort of, past playing with the younger players on the LPGA, but certainly got that competitive spirit and competitive fire. And Jane Blaylock and the Legends Tour have given them a place to play. We want to help those same ladies get more exposure so that they can grow their tour. So these two major championships become a highlight of women's golf.
And we thank you for that, boy, because again, I was never a great player. I tell people of the best in the world, I was one of the worst. But you know what? The Legends Tour and Jane Blaylock and the crew and you guys at French Lick have given me a reason to hit balls. And I'm still not one of the best ones. And of the best in the world, I'm still one of the worst. But you know what? I'm defeating my personal demons. So I thank you for that. And I'm so grateful, Cindy, for the opportunity.
And I have to say, Cindy, watching you ladies on that practice range has given me a reason to hit balls, too.
Yeah, we're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. And this is so fun. And you know what else? It also encourages the people that we teach, because when they see us, continue to work towards something, it fires them up to work towards something. And that's what this game is all about. It's like, hey, it's okay if you still suck. Let's just try to get better.
And you think about the playing side of it. Sherry Steinhauer shot bogeyed the first hole 2 years ago in the tournament and wound up shooting 63.
Wow.
So if you think they can't play, think again, because they really can't.
Well, and
she's so competitive.
I mean, Joanne Harner, I'm like, what the heck? And it's funny because she's a really good friend, and she came to our wedding, and I used to play with her all the time down at Palm Beach National. And I said, you know what, you old fart, I still want to outdrive you. And she goes, never going to happen. And she just walks along. She's 8? God bless her.
Wow. Yeah, she's 78, and I tell you, she is, a one-of-a-kind personality. And her sister caddies for her. And I think her sister's Helen is 85 or 86, and she runs almost every step of the way.
Lord.
And trust me, running at French Lick is not an easy thing to do, because I remember the first year, the second year, we got those pedometers to see how many steps we took.
Right.
And I rode in the cart some, and I still did 23,000 steps in one day. I'm like, whoa, I'm going to have some chocolate cake tonight.
Yeah, we, and I think another part of your tournament there, from this lady standpoint, is the stories and the camaraderie and the fun that comes out of the Pro-Am experience, and all that plays into making this a great event. I mean, I watched Joanne Harner on the putting green with Nancy Scranton and a couple of the other ladies giving a putting green while she had a scotch in one hand and a cigarette in the other. So it's kind of, I'll never forget that.
It's awesome. And you know what? We're forgetting the most important part is Riley's Children's Hospital.
Sure.
And Ashton Brown, and she's now working at the Golf Channel with my daughter. And I mean, those kids from Riley's are so special. And are we still going to have them as our charity?
That was part of the deal, yes. Riley will still be the charity. And I think since we started with the Legends Tour, in 3 years, we've done just a little over $500,000 in donation to Riley Children's Foundation. And then on top of that, every Christmas, Cook Medical, or French Lick Resort, through Cook Medical, will match the first $150,000 in donations from December 1st to Christmas. So, we're getting right up around $1 million, and we're hoping that with the exposure that this event will have this year, that we'll even be able to do more. And the kids, the interaction with the kids, last year we did an honorary starter program where the Riley kids came down and actually were our honorary starters. And boy, some great, tear-filled moments on those tees.
That's for sure. For sure. That's awesome.
And that's one thing, Cindy, that you and I have talked about as well on the shows before, is about really how much these ladies give back. I mean, they've obviously had the opportunity to play all over the world in various tournaments, but they don't forget really what's important, and that is to be able to do something to help other people. And obviously the Riley's Kids is a great charity to be involved with. Let me ask you, Dave, just sort of one final thing as we wrap up here at the end of the show. Speaking of kids, do you guys offer any sort of junior programs at French Lick as well, and what are some of the things that you do for that?
We, like the bio said, and by the way, the bio makes me sound very old. But, I started when I was 9. But anyway, the Orange County Junior Golf, we founded it back in the 1990s as sort of a 501(c)(3) nonprofit there in Orange County. Orange County was a county that had 13.5% unemployment. The average median income was about $22,000 a year. So kids didn't have a lot of money. Our parents didn't have a lot of money to spend on the kids' golf. And so through private donation and through fundraising, we were able to impact about 100 kids in our first couple of years. Then, after a while, golf sort of fell off with kids. And, 2 years ago, we had 27 kids. So we talked with the Indiana Golf Association, Indiana PGA. We actually started a first tee chapter there in Orange County. In our first year, one of our young professionals really took to heart the mission, and he wound up with 87 or 88 kids last summer. He actually won the Indiana Junior Golf Leader Award as a result of his work there. He'll get that award at the end of the month. But, pretty impressive to go from 0 to 90 there real quick. And we continue to work at that. And Resort Charities, who works with the Riley event and with the other charity events we do, gave us a nice donation at the end of last year to continue the program. So it's all good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fantastic. Well, it just goes to show, it just takes one to really ignite that spark, and it sounds like, that's happened at French Lick. Dave, I want to thank you very much on behalf of Cindy and I for coming on this morning and sharing a little bit about French Lick and what a great resort. I know you guys have got some great things happening there, and Cindy's going to be coming in July with her new Epic driver and Epic 3-wood, and seeing what she can do on the course this year. So I know she's looking forward to it as well, and we appreciate you taking time this morning and sharing that information with us.
Well, Cindy, let me know how that Epic works for you, and I'll keep you posted on mine, okay?
Yes, sir. And let our listeners know how to find you. If they want to come even if they just want to come to the casino and have fun and not even play golf. There's so many things to do.
The best way to get with us is through our website at www.frenchlick.com. From there, they can navigate to the Senior LPGA page to learn more about that. They can navigate to the golf page, the packages page, to our concerts. We did just sign Hank Williams Jr. for a 4th of July weekend concert, so a lot of exciting things coming up there. But
awesome.
FrenchLick.com.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Again, Dave, thank you very much for joining us this morning again, and we appreciate your time, and congratulations on having a world-class resort.
Thanks for having me, and on behalf of the 1,500 or so employees of the French Lick Resort, we hope you all get to come see us soon.
We will.
Definitely will. Thank you very much, Dave. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I think he's already gone. All right. Lots of exciting news and lots of great things happening. You got to be super excited that Callaway is now involved up there as well. So that gives you even another reason to go. Not that you needed one, but even another reason to go and visit French Lick.
Absolutely.
We got just a couple more minutes.
Place.
Yeah, I got to make a point of. I've been looking at a lot of things on their website and that over since we first talked about them on the show, and it's just it's a no-brainer. I got to make sure I get up there, and I might even try to come up in July when the event's going on. But since we got just a couple of minutes left here, Cindy, before we go off air, just remind everybody again, if they want to get more information and are interested in your Learn to Hit It kit, how they can go about doing that.
So the Learn to Hit It kit includes a portable mat, foam golf balls, the Golf 101 book, which tells you it's got a lot of culture and etiquette stuff in it, along with a few rules. A glossary to make you feel comfortable, talks about handicaps and stuff, and then the 10-module online course, so you could really hit balls in your backyard with your iPad and look to see what you're doing. And then a coupon for 10% off a Callaway Club, and it's all for $99.99, and you can find it at learntohititkit.com.
Perfect. And also very quickly, you mentioned earlier that you've got a boot camp coming up. When and where?
Well, the 2 we got coming up right in February are booked and full, but we've got one in March that's got a couple spots in it. So if you're interested in that, email me, Cindy@CindyMillerGolf.com. Cindy@CindyMillerGolf.com.
Perfect. And go to CindyMillerGolf.com as well, her website, to check out some of the great other things that she has available. And if you want to connect with her as well, obviously you can email her from there in addition. But on behalf of Cindy Miller and myself, we want to thank you for joining us on the first show of 2017 here on the Women of Golf Show. We appreciate you tuning in the broadcast. And remember, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning, if you want to join us in the conversation, you can do so by calling into the program at 347-945-5855. And we hope you will, at some point, build up the nerve. It's very simple. Just dial those digits, and you're going to be on live with Cindy and I on Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to have some great guests coming up here in the weeks to come. Lots of exciting things are going to be happening this year, and we'll keep you posted as we go along. But again, please engage with us. We want to hear from you, and we want to get some both positive, hopefully no negative, but feedback on the show as well. Things maybe that you'd like to hear, or maybe things that you'd like for us to do a little bit differently here. We're always eager to hear your thoughts, and you can do that as well by reaching out to both Cindy and I. Cindy at CindyMillerGolf.com is her email, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. So until then, again, on behalf of Cindy Miller and myself, we want to thank you for joining us this morning on the Women of Golf Show, and we will look forward to having you come back again next week here on the Women of Golf. God bless everybody and have a great week. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, Ted. Bye-bye.
Bye.